At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Love, exciting and new.
Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever.
It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships at Bermudan and British Registry.
Welcome back, and finally, the E-Peep crew has come back to your ears. I am one of your hosts, Professor Chris G, and on the other line with me is my not-so-forgetful buddy, the complete opposite of what we're about to review in our first episode today. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy that we were finally able to line up and get back on here. I feel like I say this a lot at the beginning of episodes recently, but life has been lifing like crazy. And yeah, so we're here now. Got a couple of episodes to talk about.
Yeah,
and it should be a good time.
We're about to jump back into the Johto region, and we're going to go over the next two episodes. And for the time being, everyone, I know that there's some new Pokemon Horizons episodes that are coming out, but we're going to take a break from that because as a lot of you have requested, we are going back over a lot more of the originals. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to stick to our word for 2025.
Yes.
So, all right, bro. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping for the both of us. How have you been? It's been a hot minute since we've been behind the microphone. So, how have you been? What's new with you, brother?
I have, and I mean, I'm sure you're kind of in the same boat. I've been cold.
Yes.
But you know, I've been out there. Tromping through this snow and trying not to, slip slide throughout the whole block.
Does that ice got you doing that Kendrick Lamar walk?
You know what? I mean, you joke about it, but I mean, that's like the one thing I don't mess with is ice. Like, so like I don't like it could be as cold as it wants to be, but like the stuff, like the Pabst snow kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies because there's some ice under there.
Yes.
So I've been waking up every morning checking the temperature, and I'm going, if it just warms up just a little bit more and the sun stays out, which the sun has been staying out for the most part. So
well, as long as your neighbors shoveled their portion of the sidewalk, you should be fine. But I know you can't hold everyone to that.
No, I mean, and they won't listen to this, so it's not like I'm having to be nice. I mean, my neighbors directly to the left or right of me are great. Everybody else in the neighborhood can kind of do one. But
little Jimmy 3 houses down is listening to you, and he's like, well, fuck you.
Yeah, well, little Jimmy knows where he can find a shovel. But,
yes.
But yeah, no, I was out there today, and I was walking past somebody, and he's like, I noticed you were kind of taking it kind of slow. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you can't be too careful with this tight snow like this. And he's like, well, I try to keep my immediate area clean. And I said, well, I appreciate that. I wish everybody else in the neighborhood had your thought process. And he's like, yeah, tell me about it.
That's funny.
I should just go around with. I should just pack my pockets full of snow full of salt, and just sprinkle it as I walk.
No, because you'll end up on someone's TikTok, and you don't want that. Doing the Dougie shuffle. How do you do it? You slip and slide on the ice while sprinkling down some salt.
Oh, why is that going to be stuck in my head tomorrow? Oh, damn it! That's funny. That's funny.
But all right, on my end, I'm doing pretty well. I, like you said, life's been lifing. Been truffling through some life things on my end. Nothing drastic. But when you have kids, kids get you sick.
Yeah, trying to, and I'm not going to expose our business completely because but it's kind of been kind of funny trying to pin each other down for some recordings.
Yeah, so, but like you said, life's been lifing. We're all a part of it. We are back, and at least for the next month, you guys are going to have some consistent recordings because we are making sure of that. But outside of that, we do have 2 new episodes that we are going to be going over this week, Doug. And one of these episodes is Ignorance of Blissey. And
yes.
Or no, Ignorance is Blissey. My apologies. And this episode is something. I thought it was funny. We're getting ready to go over it, and normally we have a lot more fun reviewing these episodes, and I think we're gonna have a good time reviewing this one because not only was it funny, but it's kind of entertaining at the same time. So I think this one's going to be probably the favorite of the 2 that we're going to be doing today because we are doing Ignorance is Blissey, and then right after that we're going to a Bout with Sprout. So Ignorance is Blissey is listed as the 129th episode of Pokemon and premiered in Japan on January 6th of 2000 and here in the States December 9th of 2000. And then A Bout with Sprout is the 130th episode premiering in Japan on January 13th of 2000 and here in the States December 16th of 2000. So these are the 2 episodes that we are going over today, and I'm pretty excited to start this back up because like we've said on many occasions, and I'm sure it's probably the same with you, and you've probably said it on previous podcasts, but I feel really, really comfortable behind the microphone. This podcast is my way to kind of break free and just basically kind of let my hair down, and it's a way for me to escape reality, I guess you could say. And
nice.
And did you know, brother, come July of this year will be our 5th year of doing this podcast for the Pokemon?
If you would have given me a second, I probably would have come up with that because I did remember this being a pandemic idea.
Yes.
But I guess I didn't. I mean, fucking time moves real fast.
For real. Yeah, we came up with this idea between the end of May and early June. And we went out on social media. We started up a little decent following. And since it was the pandemic, everyone was on the internet. So it was kind of a good way to get our name out there. Went out on Twitter and pumped everyone up that we're going to do every Pokemon episode ever. And as soon as that left our mouths, we were like, that's a lot of episodes.
Well, as soon as it left your mouth, I was just going along.
You agreed to the name.
I agreed to it, but you said it first.
I did. But yeah, we've been doing this. We dropped our first episode in July of 2020, and we have been rolling with the punches ever since. We have had many guests come onto our show. A lot of people that are promoting their podcasts. A lot of people that are just fans and they just wanted to come on and they're just Pokemon fans. And we've had a lot of Twitch followers that stream on Twitch. They've come onto our podcast, and I just want to fully, because I sat back the other day, bro, and I was like, how do we get back to our roots of this podcast? What made this podcast so special when we first started off? And when I sit back and I think about that, not only did, I mean, we first started off, we didn't really know how to do a TV review podcast outside of doing wrestling, but something that basically can't go old, even though some of our material on here obviously probably doesn't age well, but you sit back and you think of everything that we've gone through, all the special guests that we've had on this show, and all the relationships that we have made just doing this podcast, and how, not to say that our wrestling wasn't successful, because it was, but how much success we found in such a short amount of time doing this, and how special everything has been. I mean, we have to thank the audience and everyone that has come onto this show to make this show basically what it is. Wouldn't you agree with that, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, because, I mean, if we didn't have an audience, I mean, it would just be the two of us, you know, on a phone call, and I mean, we do that enough, and we do that enough on our regular, just day to day. But, you know, knowing that we've got a pretty substantial listenership, and, you know, we get some feedback, and, you know, we get a little bit of, you know, some accolades, you know, depending on, you know, whatever list you read or whatever.
Yeah, we're. I mean, as of this recording, we're still the number 5 Pokemon podcast in all of the world, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, that's not something you fall into by accident. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool that, you know, that we can come on here, even if we take kind of some weird breaks here and there.
Yeah,
it's
our catalog kind of speaks for itself. We literally took a substantial break that we really didn't even mean to. And the fact that all of you can still sit here and go through our backlog, and we see you guys when you listen to those past episodes, when you're listening to these episodes one after one after one, and just dating back to episode 1, and where we had audio issues, which we have, which we said at some point we're going to go back and probably redo a couple of those as some Poke breaks, and mash those episodes together. Like, the fact that we can take a break and you guys stay with us. It's not like you're unsubscribing. You stay and you listen, and you are thoroughly entertained. Like, it's funny, and not to, I'm not knocking any fans when I say this, but it's funny when you get messages on here, Doug, and people are talking about, like, let's see, we've done well over like 200 or 300 episodes of this podcast, and people are talking about like episode 25 that we said this certain line and it made them laugh, or we pronounced this Pokemon's name wrong on episode 41. I'm just throwing out numbers. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay. I was like, you know how long ago that was? But thank you for the feedback. But it's just funny.
And I mean, that's something, something I've heard on, numerous other podcasts, and I try to bring over here is, every episode of a podcast is somebody's first episode.
Yes.
So, if we cover something on an episode and then somebody doesn't start listening until next week and we haven't completely cleaned up that issue, somebody's going to say, well, because not everybody's going to go back.
Correct.
I mean, if I find a podcast and, I really find out that I like the host or I like the topic, I might jump in. And if it's like maybe a 6-episode old podcast, I might go back and listen to the old ones. But if it's like 15 or 20 episodes, I'm not going to go back and force myself to catch up. But I mean, I'll jump in.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's all dependent on,
So let me ask you, Doug, because I've never actually asked you this. So do you listen to any type of episodic podcasts, kind of similar to kind of what we do, but that goes over like a different show?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I listen to Talking Simpsons.
Okay, I was hoping you would name drop them. Yes. Did you start that from episode 1 all the way up until now?
No, because I initially found the podcast, and I think I take that back. I might have started it. I mean, as much as I could possibly go back, because I didn't jump onto to their Patreon right away. But I was kind of looking for a Pokemon recap podcast, and they were the ones that kept like popping up. And
you were actually looking for a Pokemon recap podcast? Really?
No, did I say Poke? I meant I was looking for a Simpsons recap podcast.
I was like, yeah, whoa.
I was looking for a Pokemon podcast, and they popped up. I actually don't know if they've covered an episode of Pokemon for their like What a Cartoon. I don't think
they have. They had a fan come on, and they did one episode of Pokemon way back when.
I'll have to look that up because that's kind of ringing some bells, but I couldn't tell you what episode it was. But that is kind of ringing some bells.
Actually, I believe they did. Let me search it because I actually have their stuff on here. I'm just going to type in Pokemon, and let's see. Maybe they didn't. Let's see. Dubbed a. No, they didn't. They haven't done a Pokemon episode because I typed in Pokemon on their search bar and nothing came up. Wow.
So there you go. So
for some reason, I thought that they did one episode, but I guess not. Wow. Okay.
So we'll just be sitting here patiently waiting for an email to come through because once they get around to it, they'll be like, "Who's the most reputable?" And our names will come up, and they'll be like, "Oh, we got to get in touch with them." So, but yeah, I listen to a few recap podcasts. Like and it's funny that you mentioned it's the 5-year anniversary for our show because I listened to an Office recap show, and they started. I want to say they started around our time, and they're actually done with their 9-season recap, and they've kind of started to do some offshoots.
Oh crap! Really?
Which kind of makes me think they had to have been doubling up at the beginning. Because
they would have to do 9 seasons. Well, okay, so
the first season was technically only like five or 6 episodes. So I
Okay.
mean, right there, and I think the second season was short too. They didn't start getting full seasons, I don't think, until like season 3.
Yes. And quite honestly, so if you actually think about it, Doug, so think about all the episodes that we have done. So if we would have not jumped around, say we never did black and white, say we never did those extra filler cartoons, or we didn't do Ash's final episodes, or we didn't do a big batch of Pokemon Horizon episodes. If we stuck to this, we would probably be really, really close, if not finished, with the entire Johto League. Like, I believe we would probably be getting into territory where me and you both have not seen these episodes of the original series. Yes. So we have, because remember, there was 1 year, I believe it was 2022, where every other episode was a black and white episode. And
Yes.
and we did that for an entire year, along with movies and everything. And we've jumped around quite a bit, and it's nice to finally get back to this and to be. I know a lot of people, they like our Horizon takes, but they'll probably have to wait until maybe close to the end of the year to start getting some more Horizon, because quite honestly, if we were to have kept up with Horizon, we would probably be done with Horizon probably close to May at this point right now, because I think there's only like 49 something episodes, and I don't want to get that close to finishing, because that forces us to go back to doing other stuff just until they release more, and I don't want to keep jumping back and forth. So I would say, at least for right now, we're probably safe with the originals. And I have seen a little bit of frustration, and yes, we read those comments, everybody, of certain people that just don't like. They're like, well, you stay on one season. Like, I love your show, but stay on one season of Pokemon and stop jumping. I want to stay on and listen to you guys as you go through all these episodes. So yes, so I mean, at least for the time being, we're going to stick with one, and then we will catch up with some more Horizons. Probably I would say towards the end of the year. Would you agree with that, Doug?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean that's kind of the thing you kind of run into when the name of your show is every episode, so it's not like we can pick and choose, and we've got a list of our favorites and we're just crossing them off.
Yeah.
We're coming to stuff as we come to it, and like you said, we have the freedom to detour, and we say, okay, we're going to do Ash's final episodes, or we're going to, and I promise, I feel like we've said it on shows, and every once in a while I just want to say it, just throw it out there. I think we will eventually knuckle down at some point this year and do an episode specifically on the shorts, because I know we've talked about that, and that might be a fun little thing to do. And I know sometimes we just do news episodes,
which we'll be coming up to that pretty soon, because we have Pokemon Day coming up very soon. So
yes.
So we will take a week to just cover some major news that is going to come out on Pokemon Day, which I'm sure they're going to have a lot more updates on Pokemon ZA after the announcement of the Switch 2 that they talked about a month ago. Well, no, it was about 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago. As of this recording, they revealed the Switch 2 that everyone and their mother knew all the specs and everything, but Nintendo officially came out and said what the name of it is, and what I'm honestly excited for it.
It looks nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
they didn't. I mean, obviously, this isn't we can get into it on that news episode if we're looking for content. But they didn't do anything too radical.
No. Did you watch the trailer for it, bro?
I did, because it was only like 2 minutes, and I was like, I got 2 minutes to spare.
Yeah, so I'm thoroughly surprised. I mean, obviously, they said it's a little bigger. It's a little bigger than the original Switch. They didn't go with the OLED because the OLED's already a little bigger. But it's a little bigger. The Joy-Cons are magnets now. Thank fucking God. And it's backwards compatible, which I'm fully happy about. Like the Nintendo Switch games, basically like 80% of those games are going to be backwards compatible, where you can just put it into the Switch and it will work. So I'm really, really excited for it, and I guess I can easily say now I'll buy it. I'm not going to do any hocus pocus with this new one. I was very, very brave with the last one. I mean, fuck it. I mean, it's a podcast. I'll say it. I tinkered with my old Nintendo Switch, because we have 3 Nintendo Switches, and one out of the 3 I tinkered with, and to do like some mods and to make games run like a little quicker on it and do different things like that. But with my own personal games, everyone, not stealing. I do not condone pirating, but that's it. I'm thoroughly excited to start this next adventure into the next console that they have coming out, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be released around July, is what I'm guessing, because they said that they're going to have a big announcement on the next one. I think it was sometime in April, and they're also
April 1st.
Sometime in April, and then they're also having three different weeks of hands-on where you can go to like California, New York, or I forgot the third location, where they're gonna have spots where you can actually go there and play the new Nintendo Switch. So
Yeah.
So with them having people get hands-on, and then pre-sales is going to start in April, I'm going to guess this system is coming out towards the end of June, early July, and then they're going to ramp up sales for Christmas this year, is my guess.
Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
A lot of people were talking just kind of, like you said, based on when they're going to reveal more. And then, once they start letting pre-orders start popping up, a lot of people were thinking maybe July 4th.
Oh. Well, you know what? I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean,
no.
I mean, hopefully people aren't. I'm gonna say it's not politically correct, but hopefully people aren't stupid and don't go popping fireworks next to their Switch like people were freaking smoking through their damn PS5s when it first came out.
Hey, now wait a minute. It was Xbox.
They were doing it on the PlayStation 2.
I don't care what they were doing. I wasn't doing it.
I wasn't either, but I saw it all over freaking TikTok to the point where Xbox had to put out a statement, stop smoking through our system. when you have the legit, it's made for, yeah, when you have the legit Xbox company put out a tweet on their account saying stop using our system as a smoke box. That's funny. So
people got too much time on their hands, or they're not too bright.
For real. So yeah, don't go if it's released on January 4th. Don't go popping fireworks. And for all the men out there, do not make your significant other or your girlfriend angry around the time that you are getting these systems, because you do not want them broken. Because I love watching those videos. Oh, I'm going to get him back. And then they just go. I just saw a video yesterday, bro. A girlfriend found, or the boyfriend was complaining about a couple scratches on the PlayStation, on the PS5. And she took it and put it under a faucet and started scrubbing it.
Oh.
And put Dawn soap and everything all over it, and then put it over their vent to air dry. And then the boyfriend came home and she's like, I fixed the scratches for you, and he went to plug it in and it didn't turn on. And she's like, and he's like, what did you do? And she's like, I cleaned it. And he's like, cleaned it how? In the faucet. And oh man, brother lost his mind.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Sometimes you can't teach stupid. Like I said, do not angry your significant other. I guess I shouldn't just say for the guys, but your significant other to the point where they want to go and break your stuff.
I noticed how you said it the first time, and I was like, he's going to correct himself. He'll correct himself.
Yes. So, yes, do not make your significant other angry when you get your new system. So, just putting that out there. I guess most people don't even have to worry about Xbox, because supposedly, I mean, I know they're going to come out with at least one more system, bro. And I know we will get to the fucking podcast, everyone, but we're only doing 2 episodes, so just bear with me. Yeah. But apparently, Xbox is going towards more streaming. Like if you buy a Samsung TV, your TV is an Xbox, and you buy
you buy Game Pass, basically.
Yeah, you buy Game Pass, you can play it anywhere. And supposedly they're getting ready to come out with a handheld Xbox for people that have Game Pass. And I laugh at that because, no joke, I have a Steam Deck and I've been playing handheld Xbox for like the past 2 years. Right. on my Steam Deck legitimately, and I'm not pirating anything, because Xbox on their website has a how to get Game Pass on your Steam Deck on their website.
Yeah. They have never shied away from kind of working with like other hardware.
Yes, so
because like you said, I do think they are leaning more towards just becoming a software company.
Yes.
And I mean, you say one more Xbox, I don't know.
No, well, they promised. They said they came out and said we are going to at least roll out one more Xbox. That the latest Xbox Series X is not the final console. So, but I don't think that they're looking for sales like PlayStation will be for the PS6 when it comes out.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So, but yeah. That's our talk. I hope we entertained all of you. I'll put a time sticker in the episode, because I know we went a little bit long on the preamble, and on the episodes that we do a lot of preamble, I put a little sticker saying, if you don't want to listen to the preamble, this is where we start the episode review. So
yeah, if you don't want to listen to the preamble, just turn the show off.
I was about to say you're not a fan of the show. Like I think that kind of stuff is interesting. So I mean, I don't know. But I know people came here to listen to us review some Pokemon. Are you ready to get on into our first of 2 episodes today, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right. And today's episode, we are starting with Ignorance is Blissey. We start this episode off with our it's nighttime. And our heroes are looking for a place to sleep, and they're also very, very, very hungry. And and correct me if I'm wrong, the next gym that they're going to is called the Violet Gym. Is that correct?
They're headed to the Violet Gym, and the town that they're in right now is called Happy Town.
Hey, Happy Town, yes. So we start the episode off, and they're kind of dragging their feet. They're looking for a place to lay their head. They're tired of sleeping on the ground, and they're like, okay, this place has to have a Pokemon Center. Oh, there it is right there. So they get a burst of energy, and they go and start running towards the Pokemon Center, and they get over there, and the doors are locked.
I hate to tell you this, but I think it's closed.
Closed?
No way! Hello in there? Anybody home? Hey, Nurse Joy! Sure is funny. I wonder where she is. Anybody? Blissey?
And out of nowhere, a Blissey comes out. And she's like, oh, hi, I'm friendly. You look tired. Come on in. So Blissey lets them into the Pokemon Center, and Blissey also realizes that our heroes are hungry. So Blissey's like, you know what? I got the perfect thing for you. Wait right here. And Blissey goes and runs over towards the kitchen and starts preparing up a lot of food. And Ash and our friends are sitting here, and they're like, what is this Blissey doing? And well, what is this Pokemon doing? Because they don't know what a Blissey is as of yet. And
no, first they thought, as you would if you weren't familiar, you'd go, oh, that's a different looking Chansey.
Yes.
Well, then Ash does his stereotypical, I've never seen this Pokemon, so he pulls out Dexter, and we get Blissey's description. And I meant to look this up, but I forgot, and I just remembered just now, so I'm just going to say it live on the show.
Okay.
In the games, was Blissey just a straight evolution, or was there Moonstone involved?
No, a stone is not needed, but in order to evolve your Chansey, and you needed to have a really, really good friendship. And at a certain level, as long as your friendship was high enough, it will evolve on its own.
Gotcha. Okay. So I knew they used some kind of new mechanic, but I couldn't remember if it was item-based or... Okay.
Yeah, it was when... it was in, I believe, Gold and Silver when they introduced a couple different ways to, like, you can evolve your Pokemon at night to become a certain Pokemon, evolve it during the day to become, or you can be friends with your Pokemon, and as long as your friendship level was high enough, then your Pokemon will evolve. That's how you would evolve into Blissey.
So yeah, I knew it was something different, but I couldn't remember if it was stone or... Okay. So they're like, oh, it's a Blissey, and then Blissey comes out of the kitchen, and she's got a stack of
food.
Trays with food on them, and she's running full tilt. She's not slowing down for nobody, and Ash is sitting there like, oh, hey there, slow down. And she's just barreling. And then she crashes into Ash and spills everything. And this is when we get number 1 on the pull out and scream. So Ash is covered in food, and we cut to
Blissey taking Ash a bath.
And Ash is taking a bath, and he's sitting there in his little swim trunks or whatever. And Blissey kind of pops her head in the door, and he's like, "Well, I really wouldn't mind if you would help me get my back." And she's like, "I bet." And she gets a freaking broom, basically,
and scratches all the way down. And I'm guessing that thing had like wool or metal bristles, because
definitely
it scratched his back up to shit.
So that's when we get number 2 of the pull out and scream. And let's see. And
then Ash is laying on the bed, and Blissey is like, "I can help you with that scratching." You get a close-up look of it, and she goes and gets pure alcohol, puts it on a cotton swab, and then applies it to his back. And go ahead and say it, Doug.
Yeah, and that's when we get the third and final pull out. We get the third and final from Ash. We get the pull out and scream. And this one was even funnier because Misty and Brock are sitting there and they're like, "This isn't going to end well."
Yeah.
And it doesn't. And then we see Ash he's in a full body cast. He's had it. And at this point, finally, Nurse Joy wakes up and she's like, "I wonder what's going on with all the commotion, but I'm sure Blissey's got everything handled." And
she opens the door and then
comes around the corner. And there's Ash, and she screams. So in total, we get 4 of the pull-out and screams in like the first 5 minutes or so?
Less than that. I'm sitting at 4:43 right now.
Oh, see, so there you go.
Yes. So she comes into the room and she's wondering what's going on and why they're here. And Ash is like, "Well, we were looking for a place to stay, and Blissey let us in." And Nurse Joy is sitting here and she's like, "Oh, well, that was nice of her." She's like, "Yeah, this Blissey is a little clumsy, but her heart is in a very, very, very good place." And Brock comes in, Mr. Horny Brock.
Oh boy.
And he's basically offering up his services to help out Nurse Joy around the Pokemon Center. You wanna take that part, bro?
Yeah, basically, I'm not gonna go verbatim. I do have noted down. This is one of Brock's hornier episodes.
Yes,
because there's some episodes where he sees a pretty girl and maybe once or twice, he says something kind of out of pocket. But as soon as he sees this Nurse Joy, he's for the rest of the 15 minutes or whatever, he is just fucking. But yeah, he is just. If you'll pardon my French, he is up her ass the entire rest of this episode.
Yes,
and he says something, and I should have marked it down because it was a really good quote. He says something about, "Oh, Nurse Joy, your heart is in my hands."
I'm 100% on your side, Nurse Joy. I say if Blissey's heart is in the right place, who cares where anything else is?
Huh?
And speaking of hearts being in the right place, I think you should know that my heart is in your hand.
Well, your heart may be in her hand, but your ear is in mine.
Nurse Joy is like, she's like, okay. And
she's like, "I don't even know your name, bro. You don't even go here."
So we go from that to our heroes are getting ready to go to sleep, and everyone is in their rightful bed. And
this is good. I marked this down because this was funny.
Okay, so we're probably I'm going to guess at what you wrote down. Did you write down how Misty is sleeping on the bottom bunk and how Togepi is on the top?
With Pikachu.
Yes.
Yeah, I noted that, and I also noted Ash's first quote, because they're all laying in bed, and you think, oh, they're asleep, and then Ash is laying there, and he's like, I didn't do anything wrong, and I still got sent to bed without any supper. Or, I mean, not verbatim. And friggin' Brock and Misty, like, simultaneously, they're like, yeah, well, none of us ate, so shut up. Like, how in all the commotion did Nurse Joy go, oh, so you didn't get food because it ended up on your lap? Let me cook you up some ramen or whatever.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, bro. I don't know. Well, what we find out is this is not the most brightest Nurse Joy out of all the Nurse Joys.
No, I mean, bless her heart, she means well.
Yes, she means well, but she's out of all her sisters, she's a little low on the totem pole. So
there's a reason we didn't see her until Johto.
For real. And then we go to the outside, and Jesse and James and Meowth are in the same predicament about how hungry they are. And they're like, you know what? I think it's time that we finally just break free real quick, and I think we go and rob somebody for some food. And that's where they come up with the bright idea to go and sneak into the Pokemon Center to go and steal some food. And James is kind of like gung ho, like he can't wait to go in there and do this. And they sneak into the Pokemon Center, but they sneak in from going underground because we know Team Rocket loves digging holes, and they're inside.
Well, hey, they bought that equipment; they got to pay for it somehow.
For real, and they burrow their way into the kitchen, into the dining room, and they go into the kitchen, and they can't find anything. Why can't they find anything, Doug? Because Blissey made all of the food. So maybe that's why, Doug. That's why our heroes didn't get any food, because Blissey spilled every last bit of food that they had on them.
Yeah, I'll just mark that off as question asked and answered. Yeah, let me just.
So Meowth does find a parsnip inside of the fridge, and he's like, you know what? I found it, and I'm not sharing it. And Jesse and James was like, we can cut that into 3 pieces, and all of us can eat. And
Meowth's like, nah.
Yeah, he's like finders keepers. And Jesse just goes and snatches it from him and goes and finds a knife and is getting ready to cut it. And Meowth just runs over and he's like, nope. He's like, this is mine, and just starts running away. And Team Rocket goes and starts chasing them all around the Pokemon Center, which is the smartest thing to do when you're trying to sneak around inside of the Pokemon Center. And then all of a sudden Blissey walks around the corner and sees Jesse, and Jesse's like, wait a minute, oh no. And she just starts running, and Blissey just goes and full-blown body slams her. And when Jesse turns around, we find out that she knows Blissey.
Yes.
Because when she was younger, she had a Chansey.
Yes. Basically, we get the backstory that, and forgive me if I'm cutting into the plot, because I know they expand on this later, but frick it, we're here. We get the backstory, and it's at some point we got to sit down and kind of connect the strings, because I feel like this kind of contradicts with some of the backstory we've gotten with Jesse before.
I mean, that's the running joke, but this one has to be true because she legit has a pendant that goes.
Yeah, she's got the proof.
Yeah,
but we find out that Jesse was training to be a Pokemon nurse, and she was in school with, basically a whole batch of Chansey, and Jessie kind of feels like
she was the only human in the class.
Yeah, and Jessie kind of holds that against the teacher because she kind of feels like she kind of got a raw deal because she wasn't a Chansey.
Yeah,
and
I mean, can you blame her? Like, one of the tests was to use Sing to put your Pokemon to sleep, and how the fuck can Jessie use Sing?
Yeah, I mean, she would have to like smuggle in a Jigglypuff or something, and do it and lip sync.
If she was smart enough, she would have brought a tape recorder in and just recorded Chansey doing Sing so she can.
Oh, bro, yes.
So I mean,
that would have, yeah.
Because I mean, hey, that's what people did back in the day before they had cell phones and all that. There was a tape recorder. So I mean, that's what I would have done.
But basically, the one Chansey out of the entire group she was in school with, they formed a bond, and
Chansey gave Jessie the necklace because Chansey had the necklace and she broke it in half and gave the other half to Jessie.
Yeah, and then obviously they went their separate ways, but we see that this Chansey has obviously evolved, and I made note of this and I put a question mark by it, which was related to the how does Chansey evolve. So are we to assume that this Blissey is Nurse Joy's Pokemon, and then obviously she's got a close relationship with Nurse Joy, which would enable her to evolve?
You know what? I'm gonna guess, and I might be off base because we never really find out. I'm going to guess that so they said that the friendship needs to be a certain at a certain level or really high in order to evolve. I think between the friendship of Jessie and Chansey, that Chansey remembered the friendship that she had with Jessie, and it just warmed her heart so much that she ended up evolving. I'm starting to think from this backstory that once Chansey, once they passed their tests inside of the school, they kind of get shipped off to different Pokemon centers, and they end up just going there to fulfill their dream and to work.
Okay.
And that the Chansey is not really Nurse Joy's Pokemon, more like they just work there and they have a good working relationship because Chansey is a happy Pokemon.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, that makes about as much sense as, I mean, because it's better than what we were told, because we weren't really told anything.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Blissey evolved by the friendship that she had with, because she still has on the necklace. She never forgot about Jessie.
And I think that is your biggest piece, because if she didn't hold the friendship with Jessie in such high regard, why would she still have the necklace?
Exactly.
So okay. So see, we've done more work just in that sentence or two than they did in the whole episode.
Yes. So but all right, so where are we at? Is this the part where let's see. Where Blissey goes and gets Team Rocket all of the extra goods that are inside of the storeroom.
Yes.
And Jessie is very reluctant, and James and Meowth's like, this is free food. And Blissey's like, well, take it. You're hungry. If you're hungry, take it. So Jessie does end up taking the food, which ends up emptying out whatever left of food that they had inside of the Pokemon Center, which is what we end up finding out next. Do you want to go over the next part once our heroes wake up, Doug?
Yes. So, our heroes wake up and they're like, all right, dinner was kind of a bust, but we were able to get some sleep. Let's start fresh. Let's everybody stay dry, and let's have breakfast. Well, they go down and there's no breakfast to be had. And they're like, well, this is ridiculous. How's there no breakfast? We understand, that Blissey spilled, the sweets in the dinner, but, come on, let's go. And Nurse Joy's like, I don't know what to tell you. There's no food. So she looks at the security tapes and she sees Blissey, Blissey wasn't really sneaking around because Blissey was just trying to be there for a friend.
Yep.
And
what she sees, so they don't see Team Rocket. They just see Blissey. Yeah, they see Blissey go into the storage room and then walk out with all the food. And Nurse Joy is like, well, Blissey, this is not like you. What did you do with all the food? Like, where's the food, Blissey? And Blissey seems like she's a little bit uneasy with this because how do you go and tell your boss that you went and gave free food to your old friend? So Blissey's kind of sad and kind of overwhelmed at the same time. And then you go outside and Team Rocket is looking at the Blissey with binoculars. Doug?
And Jesse is like, well, we got to help, because Blissey was helping us. And, you can tell that while it might not be on the same level as, Blissey holding her friendship with Jesse does have some kind of, special place in her heart for Blissey, because otherwise they wouldn't be going this extra mile. They're like, well, we'll go in there. We'll just explain that we tricked Blissey and
took the food. So Blissey doesn't get in trouble because she's basically getting in trouble by Nurse Joy.
Yeah, so they basically take all the food that they have and they drop it, quote unquote, from their balloon, and they're like, oh, shucks darn. And and they're like, well,
too bad.
We'll give all the food back, but there's got to be a little quid pro quo. So they basically demand all the Pokemon that are in the center, of course, with Pikachu being the cherry on top.
Yes.
But
so Team Rocket is pretty funny in this episode when we say this, because they're doing this, but the only reason that they're saying that they're gonna steal the Pokemon is so they act like criminals, because they actually feel bad for getting Blissey in trouble. So
but they've got to balance out the books on their end in terms of good deed, evil deed kind of stuff.
And it's at this point that Jesse and James, they're out there and they're like, you know what? Give us all the Pokemon. And Blissey sees them. And Jesse is like, Blissey, stay away. Stay back, Blissey. And Blissey is like, Blissey is coming out and she's like, I love you, Jesse. Come here, Jesse. And Jesse is like, yeah, she's like, and Jesse's like, crap. I can't believe I have to do this. So she sends out her Arbok and her Lickitung, and she's basically trying to say, Blissey, please just walk away right now. And Blissey is like, what are you doing? And she's fighting back her feelings, and she's like, crap, I can't believe I'm about to do this. Arbok and Lickitung attack Blissey, and they both go full-blown head-on, and they tackle the mess out of Blissey. And Blissey takes such a hard hit, bro, and then gets back up and is like, oh, you didn't mean to do that. You're still my friend. I felt so bad for this Blissey, bro.
Yeah, because, I mean, and, Jessie kind of understands the score.
Yes.
And she's like, no, Blissey, you can't be seen associating with me, because then they'll certainly tie back
everything
the
to
food
you.
incident, and, this could end your career. I mean, it's not, you're not talking a slap on the wrist at this point, and, you could be, like, blackballed out of nursing altogether. Like, they can't know that you did it to help us because we're bad people. I mean, it's a whole fucking web of connection.
Yeah.
And Blissey is like friendship above everything. And I mean, she's just being like a friendship terminator, and she just keeps moving forward. And Jessie's like yelling, and she's threatening Blissey with a rocket launcher.
And she's telling Lickitung and Arbok, hey, don't go super, super hard on Blissey either. And they look back at her and they're like, okay.
I mean, we don't give a shit, but whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, she takes out a fucking rocket launcher and shoots it right at Blissey, right at her feet, so it doesn't hit her. And she's like, Blissey, you need to get back before you get hurt. And Meow takes out one of those arm grabbing devices and is like, you know what, this is the perfect time to get Pikachu. So he goes and sends the arm grabber over to get Pikachu. Of course, this is one of their cheaper devices, and it's not made out of rubber. So Pikachu goes and does Thunder Shock and electrifies Team Rocket. Nurse Joy walks over to Blissey and starts apologizing, and for Blissey getting hurt. And Blissey looks over at Jessie, and Jessie goes, shh, please don't ruin it. You don't want to ruin your career. And Blissey is like, oh, I see what you're doing now. And Blissey starts to get a tear in her eye, and Jessie is looking, and she's like, you will always be my friend. And then we shoot over to Ash, and he's like, man, I'm just hungry. Will somebody get me some food?
It's like I haven't eaten in almost a day, because I mean, it's got to be going on 24. Well, maybe not, because it's still the afternoon, but it's got to be getting close.
Yeah. So, well, no, this is all going on in the morning. Remember? So it's bright and early. So
yeah, okay. So it's maybe been okay, but still.
So Ash sends out his Squirtle and his Chikorita, tells Pikachu to use Thunder Shock, Chikorita to use Vine Whip, which I think this is one of the funnier Vine Whips that we've seen. Freaking Chikorita goes and wraps her vines around Lickitung's tongue and just starts twirling Lickitung in the air, and then just body slams it right onto the ground. I'm just like, gosh darn. But and then Squirtle comes up and does a lot of his attacks. Team Rocket goes and tries to take off with the quote unquote food. They're wanting them to get the food back, but they got to act like that they really do want to take the food. Chikorita does Razor Leaf. One of the Razor Leaves cuts the food from the getaway airbag. The other one punctures a hole in the balloon, and Team Rocket goes blasting off again. Doug?
And then we wrap up with everybody getting a meal, finally. And then, we get the stereotypical, goodbye, thanks for all your help. All the typical, tying bows on stuff, and then we get
Team Rocket landed in the ocean.
They're happy that they helped Blissey, so they are, humans at the end of the day, but then they're immediately like, but we're still hungry as shit.
So, and that's how we end that episode. So, like I said, bro, that it was a good episode.
It was really good. It was there was humor, there was heart, there was a little bit of action. I mean, it's your stereotypical Team Rocket battling with Ash and friends, so Team Rocket's basically the Washington Generals versus the Harlem Globetrotters of Ash and the crew. So it ain't going to go well, especially when there's only like 5 minutes left in the episode.
But we did get story advancement. I mean, not that it's going to really go anywhere in the series, but it's another piece of the puzzle that you can pencil in, at least on Jesse's end, and know that this story is actually true, because most of the stories that she makes up in her head are completely false.
Yeah.
And not true from the narrative. I mean, at least James, when he tells his stories, all his stories are true because he was a rich little boy
who would have no reason to make anything up because he was born on third base.
For real. You know what? I'm starting to think that that's how Jesse and James pay off a lot of their debt. Like, James is like, I can go back and get some money.
Do you think it's that, or do you think he has a secret account that he just doesn't give Meowth and Jesse the details to?
Both. Well, no, I don't think so, because
they kind of kicked him out the last time, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they all walked away from each other.
They're like, hey, don't come back, otherwise you're gonna have to get married or.
Yeah. So, unless he did marry that woman, and he's like, okay, I'll see you once a month.
That would be some low-key diabolical stuff. Like, he married this chick and we don't see her again.
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate Pina Colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
That would be funny. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered things. Like, we've gone through Ash's final episodes, and there's still a lot of questions.
They sure as heck didn't tie up a lot of those loose ends. I like low key, like in the back of my mind was like, see Richie finally. Nope.
So, but all right. Are you ready to jump on into our next episode, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and go with a bout with Sprout. So, this episode, we have our heroes. Give me 1 second. We start the episode with our heroes running up a hill, because what's on the other side of the hill, bro? On the other side of
Violet City.
Yes, it is Violet City. And in this city is where Ash hopes to earn his first Johto League badge. Can you believe we've been through so many of these episodes and he hasn't won one badge yet?
Slacker.
I feel like Ash at this point in the Kanto series was already given one badge and going after the actually given the first 2 badges and going after the third with Erica.
I was going to say thank you very much for saying given. Thank you very much because
So
what did Misty say at one point? Because Ash tried to get cocky. He's like, I earned. He's like, earned. Brock and I felt bad for you.
Exactly. So, they finally get there, and while wandering through the city, Pikachu smells some sweet flowers, and Pikachu is then attacked by a couple school children.
Hoodlums.
Yes, hoodlums who wants to play with him. Do you want to go? You want to go over this spot?
Yeah. So Pikachu is like, I don't care if you're kids. You can't be running up on people. I'll zap you back to kindergarten. And Ash basically has to swoop in, and you know what happens every time Ash swoops in at the last second.
Yep.
He catches the brunt, and
yeah, because you can't show little children getting zapped by electricity on a kid's show, but you can show but you can show Ash get electrocuted.
Yeah, and Ash is only 10, so what's the difference?
Because when you're 10, you're a grown man.
So if Ash is 10, what are these kids, like 5?
I mean, they look like it. They're between 4 and 5, yeah.
I mean, for goodness sakes. But the kids immediately try to backtrack. They're like, listen, we don't, no Pokeball. He wasn't, it wasn't like he was on your shoulders. We thought he was wild. Yeah. And then around the corner, we get a woman saying, get back in class. What are you doing? What do you think this is? And
we find out that her name is Miss Priscilla because Brock is head over heels for her.
Yeah, this is 2 rough episodes in a row for old Brock because if he was head over heels for Nurse Joy, he was like head over heels like 5 times for this chick.
Yes.
And he's like, "Oh, Miss Priscilla is such a pretty name," and
oh boy! Wow, we know all about Pokemon training because we're going to be trainers when we graduate from the Pokemon Academy. The Pokemon Academy?
Yes, the Pokemon Academy is a special school where I teach very young children who want to be Pokemon trainers all about Pokemon, how to train them, and how to take care of them.
These children are so lucky to have a sensitive, caring, loving teacher like you. My name is Brock, and I'm a Pokemon breeder. What's your name, beautiful lady?
I'm Miss Priscilla.
My friends and I are looking for the Violet City Gym, but it's more important to show the students our Pokemon and spend time here with you.
She basically explains that this is a Pokemon Academy, and they teach kids about Pokemon training and relationships, and so they can grow up to become trainers and go out and earn badges and catch wild Pokemon. And Ash is like, I'm an established trainer. And Priscilla's like, great, you want to give a lecture to the kids?
And Ash is like, of course.
He's like, sure, fuck off, He's like, I've got notebooks full of, if he only did.
He's like, I made it to the top 16 in the Indigo Plateau Conference.
Which, I think we were all kind of supposed to snicker at that. That's not nothing.
No, it's not nothing, but tell me why. It's just a running joke because the kids always go, okay, you were in the top 16, but why didn't you win?
Yeah, which, fair.
But, why didn't he just say, I won the Orange League? You literally just won the Orange League.
Yes, he did. You know what? That didn't even come up for a second.
Exactly.
He's like, because he easily could have said, look, I got to the top 16 in Indigo, but I did win. But I think the only thing that would have kind of backfired on him is I don't think he's got the trophy to show off. Much less I don't think he's got the badges either.
I mean, all he had to do is put a picture in his front pocket for any time he wants to brag and just show him celebrating getting that, because they did take his picture with the trophy. No, they kept that picture and put it in front of the trophy in the town inside of the
in the Palatown Poke Center, right?
Yeah. Okay, never mind. He doesn't have that picture. No, it wasn't even the Palatine Poke Center. They took his picture and
shucks.
Didn't they? Because they had a big trophy.
The Hall of Winners or whatever.
Yeah, the Hall of Winners.
Yeah.
They put his picture there, and Ash got to take the trophy home. So,
and it's not like if it was today, he'd be like, "Oh, look me up. I won, 2 or 3 seasons ago or whatever. Look me up," and they could look him up. But he doesn't have that.
Nope.
So this little kid, Zach, he's all snotty. He's like, "Why should we listen to you? You didn't even win." And Misty's like, "Well, why don't we go outside and you can explain to the children just how much of a skilled trainer you are. And, they can play with all our Pokemon." So everybody comes out and they're having a gay old time. And this is when Priscilla tells Ash and the crew about the Sprout Tower and about how it has the one beam that always is in constant motion, and it reminds young trainers about, staying steady and about growth and, about centering yourself and
you know what? So you know how this tower moves back and forth, right? So isn't that the tower inside of the Pokemon Gold game that ends up burning, and that's where Ho-Oh is?
It has to be, right?
That's what I thought. Oh, and I also found out another fun fact. So you know how this tower kind of sways back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that inside of a windmill, that the windmill does the same thing?
Like the inside of the windmill is always in motion?
Yes. So when you're driving down the road and you see a windmill, but it looks like it's standing still, and you either see it with the blades not moving or the blades are moving in a circular motion. When you actually walk up, and I didn't know this, but I saw a video on it. When you actually walk up to the windmill and say you're gonna climb to the top of the windmill, one of the workers walked up to the door, opened the door, and pointed his camera all the way going up the windmill, and you just see the windmill swaying vigorously back and forth, but it's not clear to the naked eye when you're driving on the road.
Oh.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's how that's how windmills are made. They sway back and forth, so they're not still.
Well, see, so you can't say you don't learn anything by listening to this show.
I know, right? It's just the fact that I just saw this video 2 weeks ago, and just watching this episode and seeing it sway just reminded me about that. But
that's crazy. Well, not crazy, but that's so coincidental, right? Because it just so happens to be about this episode, and
yep,
that's cool.
So, fun fact of the day.
Yeah, that's good.
So, back to the episode. We have little Zachy. He goes and he plops himself right next to Pikachu. And he's making Pikachu very uneasy. And he's like, "I want you." And Pikachu is like, "I can't go with you." And he's like, "I'm going to make you my Pokemon."
Come on, Pikachu. Forget about Ash and be my Pokemon. Lika, what's so great about him anyway? Wouldn't you rather be my Pokemon? Lika. Okay, then I'm just gonna take ya.
okay?
Go away!
Anything I can do?
Yeah, you can let me have your Pikachu!
Ugh.
Give me Pikachu!
Now you know I can't do that.
I want Pikachu! I want Pikachu! I want Pikachu!
I'm stuck, Pikachu. What do I do now?
He's like, and Ash is like, well, little kid, whoa, slow your roll. He's like, you can't have Pikachu. And he's like, the hell I can't. So
give me one of them Pokeballs.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna catch this Pikachu. And Pikachu is like, no, you're not. And Pikachu just goes and starts running away. And okay, where's the line here? Because I thought when a Pokemon, because Pikachu has a registered Pokeball.
Yes.
I thought a Pokeball cannot register a Pokemon that is already caught. So if he threw the Pokeball at Pikachu, it would automatically just burst out the Pokemon because it's already registered to someone.
Correct.
So
because Pikachu's Pokeball, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a minute, didn't it specifically have a lightning bolt on it?
Yes, it does. Right on the top.
It did. Okay. That's what I thought.
And Zach is like, I'm going to catch this Pikachu. And then Pikachu's like, the hell you are. And Pikachu just goes and runs out of the school and around the corner. And Zach goes and starts chasing the Pikachu. And Ash doesn't even run after Pikachu. And then Chikorita's over here taking advantage of it. He's like, oh, Pikachu's gone now. I can be your favorite Pokemon now.
I can be number one. Finally, I've been waiting for this day.
And Ash is like, okay, you know what? Enough of this. And he's like, I gotta go get Pikachu and help Pikachu out. All of these Pokemon, because they all let their Pokemon out for the little kids to play with the Pokemon. So he's like, return Pokemon. So he returns Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Heracross, and then Chikorita is like, wait, whoa.
I thought we had something.
So we cut over to Pikachu, and Pikachu is legit in the forest and hiding from good old Zach boy over here. And all of a sudden Zach sees Pikachu's ears through the grass and is like, oh, Pikachu, you are mine now. Come here. And just goes and whips the Pokeball into the bush. You see Pikachu kind of dodge it, but out of nowhere, you see something go into the Pokeball. So Zach is over here and he thinks that he just caught.
He's like, I got him. Holy shit, I got him.
And Ash runs over, and all Ash sees is the Pokeball showing that he just caught a Pokemon. And Zach is parading around. He's like, I caught it. Pikachu is mine. And Ash is like, oh shit, how the hell did you catch my Pikachu? And he's like, I just caught your Pikachu. Now Pikachu is mine. And he goes and starts running away, and then they fall into a hole. I'm gonna let you take it from here, bro.
Yeah, they fall into your patent pending Team Rocket hole, and basically, Team Rocket pops up, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for doing the legwork, kid." And if you give us that Pikachu, we'll get you out of the hole, lickety split. And Zacky's like, "Nah, man, I went through all this hassle to get him. I'm not just gonna give him up." And then Ash is like, well, I'll just take him back. And, we've handled Team Rocket like 17,000 times. I mean, I could pretty much do this in my sleep. And Zach's just like, no. And he's like, I'll handle this because I caught him. And he tells Pikachu to use Thunderbolt. And Pikachu's just like, that'll be a big no for me, dog, once again. And this is the moment when we realize that Zach did catch something, but he didn't catch Pikachu. He caught himself a wild Bellsprout. And Zach's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with a little dinky Bellsprout? And he just starts losing. He's like, I want Pikachu. I don't want Bellsprout. And Team Rocket is over there using a voice modulator to make it sound like Ash's voice. And
Pikachu comes running over.
Because, he's a loyal Pokemon. Probably a little traumatized at this point. And then but then the real Ash is like, no, Pikachu, I'm over here. And we could have had your stereotypical, I don't know which way to go, but Pikachu, like, immediately is like, that's the real one down there. And, Ash tells Pikachu to use Thunderbolt, and Team Rocket goes bye-bye. And, then we get a little bit of Bellsprout trying to kind of, get on Zach's good side, because he's like, well, you did catch me, even if you didn't want to.
And Zach ain't having it.
He's like, I want Pikachu. I don't want no dinky Bellsprout. He's crying and stuff. And
we take a small glance back at the school, and Team Rocket flew over to the swinging tower, and that's where we find out that the school is with Misty and Brock, and they're looking at the big log going back and forth inside of the tower.
And then this is when we do get the explanation, which I kind of touched on earlier. And then they basically
Team Rocket's
hatching a plan to get Pikachu, and James tells Weezing to go out and use smokescreen to make it appear that the tower's on fire, which evacuates the school because, smoke bad.
Yes.
Or not evacuates the school, but evacuates the tower. And then Ash and Zach finally catch up, and they see the smoke from a distance.
Yeah, well, hold on. Right before that moment, Zach is still crying about not getting Pikachu, but Bellsprout ends up doing a funky little dance and starts making Zach laugh. So Zach is starting to warm up to the Bellsprout.
Yes, which admittedly is a stupid reason to stop crying, but
he's a kid.
I mean, credit to, he's a kid, and credit to Bellsprout for trying to get a handle on the situation, because otherwise he's stuck. Because, Zach caught him.
Yes.
Whether or not he meant to, he caught him. So, but yes, this is when Ash and Zach come over the hill and they see the smoke, and Ash immediately sends out Squirtle to use water gun, and then Misty follows the lead and throws out her Poliwag, which, hold your hand up if you forgot Misty had a Poliwag.
Yeah. For real.
And then Brock's like, well, the water doesn't seem to be doing anything.
And then that's when Ash is like, this place is not on fire. Someone's over there making the smoke. And then that's when Team Rocket shows up.
And Team Rocket can't help themselves. And this is when we see Lickitung, Arbok, and Weezing are attached to the swinging log, and they're cutting it, they're sawing it, and they have a rocket strapped to the damn thing.
Yeah, they're trying to take the log out with the rocket so the place will collapse.
And basically, unless Ash gives us Pikachu, the whole thing's coming down. And
Pikachu reluctantly just walks over to Jessie, and she has rubber gloves on. And I'm going to say that this is stupidity on Pikachu's part, because what does Pikachu do? Pikachu goes and Thundershocks Jessie's hand. Why didn't Pikachu direct its Thundershock at Jessie? Because the rest of Jessie didn't have rubber on, just the gloves.
I can answer that question by asking you how much is left in the episode.
4 minutes.
Yeah, see, they had to fill the last 4 minutes. So basically, they tie up Pikachu, and Ash is like, well, I've got other Pokemon, and Meowth's like, I wouldn't try anything funny because I could still, blow up this tower with one press of the button. And this is when Zack finally kind of tries to step up and seize the moment, and he tells Bellsprout to use Razor Leaf, which I made a note here. I have Bellsprout Razor Leaf equals BS question mark, because
where did the leaves come from?
Where did the leaves come from? How high of a level is this Bellsprout? I couldn't remember if Razor Leaf was a given move.
Oh, okay. So if it knows Razor Leaf, it's a pretty high level. It learns Razor Leaf at level 39.
39?
Yeah. Hold on. Learns that by leveling up. Yeah. Level 39. Because I'll tell you, it first knows Vine Whip and Growth. It learns Growth at 7, Wrap at 11, Sleep Powder at 13, Poison Powder at 15, Stun Spore 17, Acid at 23, Knock Off at 27, Sweet Scent at 29, Gastro Acid at 35, Razor Leaf at 39, Poison Jab at 41, Slam at 47, and then finally at 52, Power Whip.
Jesus.
Yes. And it can learn an array of TMs, is what it shows me here. And let's find out, let's see, evolution. It evolves into Weeping Bell at level 21.
So this is a special Bellsprout who has held itself and is probably close to level 40 at this point.
Well, you know what? If it leveled up to a Weeping Bell, it wouldn't learn Razor Leaf until level 44.
So good, so good, so good.
Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack.
Because they have framed jeans.
Nike? Yes. Just so many good brands.
Vince, Kurt Geiger London, Rag & Bone, and more are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. You never know what you'll find, but you know it's going to be so good. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Okay. Well, but that's still not valid, because if it could learn Razor Leaf at 39, it still held itself from evolving.
Yes. It's still yes. This Bellsprout has to be higher than 21. So it's at least at level 39 right now, which means it's actually a pretty powerful Bellsprout. So given anything, this Bellsprout actually knows a lot of moves, which means that it already knows Sleep Powder, Poison Powder, Acid, Stun Spore, Wrap, Vine Whip, Growth. Like, it knows all of these moves already.
His little Bellsprout that he didn't want could go back to that school and wreck shop across the whole class.
Yes.
And he doesn't want it because it's not Pikachu.
Yes.
Ungrateful little snot.
Well, he doesn't know this.
Well, you know what? But that's what he's in school for.
Yes. So, but yes, this Bellsprout, and I'm looking at this now. This Bellsprout was whipping out that Razor Leaf like very, very, very good.
Oh yeah.
So it really knows this move. So it's definitely a high level Bellsprout. And this little kid got really lucky, and Team Rocket ends up losing their rocket. The rocket blasts out of the warehouse, but it seems like the warehouse is about to crumble to the ground, and then out of nowhere it just stops. And Zacky goes and hugs his little Bellsprout and thanks it. Team Rocket is blasting off on top of their little rocket, and they are very, very joyful on top of this rocket, even though it's not going to end well for them in just a second, because it goes and explodes, and then they go blasting off some more.
And then we get the stereotypical, Ash saying goodbye.
We're never going to see you again.
Brock volunteers to stay and help teach, and Priscilla's initially like, oh, that's a great idea. And he's like, you mean I can stay and be your assistant? And there's a dance teacher who we neglected to mention because
doesn't play that big of a role.
He doesn't play that big of a role. He's like, no, you can be my assistant and we can learn the art of dance. And Brock's like, nah, I think I should stay with my friends. No thanks.
I'd be mad at Brock in this episode because he was legit like ready to just bounce and say peace, and he just did that with Tracy.
Yes,
like we don't speak Professor Ivy's name.
Brock is led by his.
So,
and this isn't a shocking development, but it's I think it bears repeating once in a while. Brock does not have a brain. Brock has all his energy in his hands.
Yes. So that's the end of the episode. Really good show today, bro.
Yes, a good couple of episodes. More entertaining than I thought initially as I was watching them the first go around, but I feel like take a drink every time we say I had more fun reviewing than I did watching.
Yes.
I thought we had some very entertaining tangents that were tangent worthy.
Yes, absolutely.
The Bellsprout discussion alone, I think, drove the episode. A little bit of Jesse's backstory from the first episode. I mean, this was a really solid episode.
Yeah. So what would you give these two episodes? So starting with the Blissey, what would you give Blissey out of 5, Doug?
Whew. I can't tell if this is going to be harsh or generous, but I was kind of thinking 3.5.
Okay. And how about the second one?
Oh,
Okay, so
3?
About a 3? Okay.
About a 3, I think.
And I'm gonna go with yours because that's kind of where I was sitting too, because not only were these episodes entertaining, we actually learned some stuff. And then
we did.
And then with putting the technicality into the actual episode and finding out, okay, bro might have caught a Bellsprout, but he caught a very, very strong Bellsprout. Like his Bellsprouts probably can be up there with Ash's Bulbasaur.
Like at the end of the episode, he said, "Oh, do you think if I train real hard, he can be?" I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, by the end of the week, he probably could be."
And you know what? What level do you think that Ash's Pikachu is at this point? Because I mean, I
know we've had this discussion before.
I would think it's a little bit lower than what we thought. only because Ash does have to go through this whole series and Pikachu does nothing but get stronger throughout the series. So this is only season 3. There's, I believe, 25 or 26 seasons of Pokemon. So we're on season 3. So what would you estimate his Pikachu's level is?
Would it be crazy for him to be in the 30s at this point?
Yeah, I would say so. So would you say that little kid's Bellsprout is about as powerful as Ash's Pikachu?
Yeah, I think because, like you said, it had control of the Razor Leaf. Like, that wasn't like, oh, he just threw Razor Leaf out by accident. Like, no, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, we've seen Pokemon be inaccurate with their moves. This Pokemon knew how to use it. So
yeah.
So okay.
It would be an interesting battle, but I think Ash's Pikachu would probably get the dub just based on type advantage.
Yes. You know what?
Oh, grass. Oh, wait a minute.
I was about to say, didn't Ash get beat by a Bellsprout in the Pokemon League?
He did.
And which Pokemon was the one that got beat by it?
It was Pikachu, because the Bellsprout literally went up and smacked him on the head.
And knocked him out.
And Bellsprout was on a tear until Muck came out and sat on him.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Bellsprout would probably have a 1-up on Pikachu, unless Pikachu is holding a grudge and is like, I know how to defeat you now. I fought you in the Pokemon League.
Yeah, Pikachu would probably be pissed because Zach's been running around the whole episode trying to catch him.
Yeah.
So Pikachu would probably have a little bit extra sauce.
So, all right. Well, good episode, bro. Good episode. So,
great episode.
Thank you all for listening this week. It's great to be back on the record sesh. And do you have anything else that you want to say before we kind of clean up here, Doug?
No, I don't think so. Like you said, it's great to be back on the bicycle.
Yes, it is. And all right, everyone. And if you are not subscribed on Patreon, you can listen to all of these episodes ad-free right on our Patreon, and also you can get all of the movies that we have done. So all of our movie reviews and our game show, the Pokemon adventures manga that we've done, all of that, in any specials, anything, you can get all of that on our Patreon for a low price of $5. And if you're feeling extra generous and you want those movies, you can get the movies for $10, everyone. So go ahead and head on over to Patreon, and if you don't have that extra coin, make sure that you subscribe to us right here on Spotify, because Spotify is what helps keeps the lights on over here. And even though they have ads for you on here, go ahead and subscribe to the premium, because I mean, we still get a little bit of kickback there as well. So outside of that, thank you all for listening, no matter where you're listening, everyone. And go ahead and say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Professor Chris G telling all of you that we will be back with a new episode pretty soon. So have a good night, everybody.